Here's something most learners don't realize. Sounding fluent isn't really about knowing more grammar rules, and it's not about memorizing a bigger vocabulary list either. It's about a small set of phrases native speakers repeat constantly in almost every conversation that textbooks barely ever teach. Once you start using these, something interesting happens. People stop noticing that English isn't your first language, and they just start listening to what you're actually saying. Today, you're getting 20 of those exact phrases with real context for each one, so you don't just memorize them, you actually understand when and how to use them. Number 1. I see what you mean. This replaces the overused I understand. If someone explains something a little complicated and you genuinely follow their point, this phrase shows you're actually engaged in the conversation, not just passively listening. For example, if a friend explains why they're upset about a decision at work, you can say, I see what you mean. That would frustrate me too. It sounds thoughtful, not robotic. Here's another version of the same situation. Your roommate explains why they want to change the cleaning schedule, walking you through their reasoning step by step. Instead of nodding silently, you respond mid-conversation. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. That actually makes more sense for both our schedules. Notice it fits naturally in the middle of a conversation, not just at the end. Number 2, that makes sense. This is one of the most used phrases in everyday American conversation, and most learners never use it at all. When someone explains a reason for something, instead of saying okay or I understand, say that makes sense. It signals real comprehension. If a coworker says, I left early because the meeting got moved, you respond, ah, that makes sense. You'll also hear this phrase used when someone explains a decision that initially seemed confusing. If a friend explains why they canceled weekend plans last minute because of a family emergency, you can say, oh, that makes total sense. Don't worry about it at all. Adding total or complete in front strengthens it even further, showing genuine understanding rather than just a polite response. Number 3. I'm not gonna lie. This is a casual way of saying you're about to be very honest, often about something slightly negative. If a friend asks how their presentation went and it wasn't great, you can say, I'm not gonna lie, the ending felt a little rushed. It softens honesty without hiding it. This phrase also works well when admitting your own feelings. If someone asks how you're handling a stressful week, instead of pretending everything's fine, you say, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a rough few days. Native speakers use this constantly right before sharing something they'd normally hesitate to say directly. Native tip number 1. Notice these phrases aren't complicated vocabulary. They're simple words arranged in the exact way native speakers naturally arrange them. That's the real secret behind sounding fluent. It's not bigger words, it's the right combination of small ones. Number 4. I was just about to. This phrase is useful when you're describing timing naturally. If someone calls you and asks if you've eaten and you're literally about to cook, you say, I was just about to make dinner, actually. It's far more natural than, I will make dinner soon. This phrase also works perfectly for near misses in timing. If a friend texts you right as you're about to text them, you say, I was just about to message you. This is funny. That small overlap in timing is exactly what this phrase is built for. Number 5. It's not a big deal. When someone apologizes for something small or worries too much about a minor issue, This phrase reassures them casually. If a friend apologizes for being 5 minutes late, you respond, "It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it." It also works when someone thanks you for a small favor. If a coworker thanks you for covering their shift for an hour, you say, "Honestly, it's not a big deal. Happy to help." This phrase keeps small moments feeling light instead of overly formal. Number 6. I could be wrong, but this phrase lets you share an opinion without sounding overly confident or rude. If you disagree with someone's plan, instead of bluntly saying, "That's wrong," you soften it. "I could be wrong, but I think we should leave earlier than that." Native speakers use this constantly in discussions and meetings. It's especially useful when correcting someone gently. If a friend misremembers a detail about a shared memory, you say, "I could be wrong, but I think that actually happened last summer, not this one." The phrase protects the relationship while still sharing the correct information. Number 7. To be honest. This phrase signals you're about to share your real opinion, especially when it might be slightly different from what someone expects. If a friend asks if you liked a movie you didn't enjoy, you say, "To be honest, it wasn't really my thing." Direct but not harsh. You'll also hear it used to admit uncertainty about future plans. If someone asks if you'll attend an event next month and you genuinely don't know your schedule yet, you say, "To be honest, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to check." Native tip number 2. Many of these phrases exist specifically to soften opinions, because in natural English, bluntness often sounds rude, even when the words themselves are polite. Phrases like, "I could be wrong, but," or "to be honest," aren't just fillers. They're social tools that make direct opinions land more smoothly. Number 8. I guess so. This phrase expresses mild, uncertain agreement, not full enthusiasm, but not disagreement either. If someone asks, "Do you think it'll rain today?" and you're not fully sure, you answer, "I guess so. The sky does look a little gray." It also fits when you're agreeing to something you're not fully excited about. If a friend suggests a restaurant you're not sure about, you say, "I guess so. We can try it once." Number 9. I'll pass. Thanks. A polite way to decline something without a long explanation. If someone offers you food you don't want, instead of a flat, "No," you say, "I'll pass, thanks, but it looks good." This shows politeness even while declining. It also works for declining invitations casually. If a coworker invites you to an after-work event you'd rather skip, you say, "I think I'll pass this time, but thanks for asking." Number 10. Let's play it by ear. This means deciding not to make a fixed plan right now, and instead deciding later based on the situation. If a friend asks what time you'll meet tomorrow and you genuinely don't know yet, you say, "Let's play it by ear and text each other in the morning." It also works for bigger, less certain plans like weather-dependent activities. Let's play it by ear. If it's sunny, we'll go to the park. If not, we'll figure something else out. Number 11. That's fair. When someone makes a reasonable point, even one you didn't expect, this phrase acknowledges it without fully agreeing or disagreeing with everything else they said. If a coworker explains why a deadline needs to move, you respond, "That's fair. Let's adjust the schedule." It's also useful in small disagreements, like when a friend explains why they didn't text back quickly. "That's fair. I know you've been swamped this week." Native tip number 3. Look at how many of the phrases so far are short. 3, 4, 5 words at most. Long, complicated sentences aren't what make English sound fluent. Short, precise phrases used at exactly the right moment are what actually do it. Fluency is about timing and precision, not length. Number 12. I've been meaning to. This describes something you've wanted to do for a while but haven't gotten around to yet. If someone asks if you've called a friend recently and you haven't, you say, "I've been meaning to call her, actually, I just keep forgetting." It also works for personal goals you've been delaying, like starting a new habit. "I've been meaning to start exercising again, honestly, I just need to actually commit to it." Number 13. No rush. This tells someone there's no pressure or urgency. If you ask a coworker for a document and they say they'll send it later, you respond, "No rush, whenever works for you." It's warm, casual, and used constantly in both work and daily life. It also softens requests you make yourself. "Can you send that file over? No rush, just whenever you get a chance." Number 14. I'm kind of on the fence about it. This describes genuine uncertainty. You haven't decided yet, and you're weighing both sides. If someone asks if you're going to a weekend event and you're truly unsure, you say, "I'm kind of on the fence about it. I might be too tired." It also fits bigger decisions like a job offer. "I'm kind of on the fence about it. The pay's good, but the commute is rough." Number 15. Let me get back to you on that. A professional, polite way to say you need time before answering. If your manager asks whether you can take on an extra project and you need to think it over, you say, "Let me get back to you on that by tomorrow." It also works casually with friends. "Let me get back to you on the weekend plans. I need to check something first." Here's what to actually do with this list starting today. Don't try to memorize all 20 phrases at once. That's exactly the kind of overwhelming approach that makes people give up. Instead, pick 2 or 3 this week and actually use them in conversations in your own head while thinking, even out loud while you're alone. Once they start feeling automatic, come back and pick 2 or 3 more. Fluency isn't built by knowing more information all at once. It's built slowly, phrase by phrase, until using them stops requiring any conscious effort at all. One more thing before we finish, a mistake I see constantly. Some learners hear a list like this and try to use every single phrase in one conversation, back to back. That actually backfires. It sounds forced, almost like you're reading from a script, which is the exact opposite of sounding fluent. Real fluency means using 1 or 2 of these naturally, when the moment genuinely calls for it, not performing a checklist. Slow, natural integration always beats fast, forced memorization. Before you go, here's a quick reminder of the pattern running through every single phrase in this video. They're short, they soften direct opinions politely, and none of them are a plain yes or no standing completely alone. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember that one pattern. It will change how natural your English sounds more than any grammar rule you've ever studied. That's it for today. Sounding fluent was never really about knowing everything. It's about knowing exactly the right small things and using them naturally at exactly the right moment. You now have 20 of them. In the next lesson, we're covering the flip side of this. 20 phrases you should actually stop using because they instantly make you sound like a beginner, even when your grammar is completely correct. See you there.